After decades of counseling people, trying to help and assist people, dealing with suicide hotline, spending time at Folsom Prison as volunteer chaplain, working with PTS veterans, working with first responders, working with homeless people, people coming and going from all kinds of bad situations in your life. I finally realized that people are not just going to respond to, all right, wake up tomorrow, get better, move on, change, forget the past. I'm finally realizing that unless people really deal with their past at some level, unless they're heard, unless their story is shared, unless they're understood, they're less willing to go into the future without that baggage. So I had a dream the other night and basically was telling me that these people are not changing, they're not evolving because they're hanging on to their stories. As much as I want people to give it up, move forward, forget it. It's yesterday. It's not who you are. I'm realizing that people really do want to be understood and they want to tell their story. And so I'm looking at next year in 2024, starting some workshops that are basically into the deeper elements of that, of allowing people to come together for a weekend and share their stories without drowning in them, getting it out of their system, and so they can reawaken, so they can refocus. They can't go forward until they get rid of the past. So I'm asking people now that in your own lives, and you're dealing with people, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with adults, you're dealing with your parents, you're dealing with your neighbors, you're dealing with friends, you're dealing with enemies. They all got a story. And most people just want to be understood. If there's a gift that you can give to the world, do so by listening. Listen to them. Sometimes people come to me and they really are not looking for any advice I'm going to give them. There's nothing I can say to them they haven't heard, haven't read, don't know intuitively. They just want to know that Reverend Bill understands them, what they went through. I get it. But I think all of us, everybody, should take a look at how well we're really listening to others. There's people in our lives that don't say much, but they're hurting inside. I have been dealing with suicides, depression, uh, mental illness, emotional illness, different than what you'd classify as a mental illness. It's more of a malaise. It's more of a darkness. It's a why am I getting up in the morning? What's my purpose? Why am I here? Kind of questions that people have in life. Well, I like to get people to go past that. But I'm also realistic to know that at some point you got to be heard and understood. Now, and I, of all people, should have known this. I mean, I've written books. People know me. They kind of understand where I'm coming from. So, what's so different about others? They want to fully express themselves as well. There's a fine line between listening to somebody and allowing people just to keep going on and on and on, which doesn't help them. But at some point, people just want to be understood. So make it a point, try to understand people, at least here. So when you see somebody out on the street that's homeless, don't pass judgment. They have a story. They want to be understood. If you see somebody that seems emotionally ill, mentally upset, they got a story as well. There's things that have happened. Sometimes they're just not ready for a lecture. They're not ready for, here's how you do it. Here's how you get out of it. Sometimes they got to stay in that place for a while before they're really ready to crawl out of that hole that they've created for themselves. So I'm just extending a compassionate heart, telling people that, hey, we need help out there. We need people out there that are looking to listen and to understand others. That's all. Be a kinder, more gentle world. So blessings and peace. And I love you all.